Abby Martin with your election update for teleSUR English. This week we saw the final presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Post-COVID Trump toned down the insanity this time, so it was slightly more watchable than the first one. Some of his most memorable racism was when he called immigrants who came to the U.S. low IQ, and that all the kids he separated from their parents in ICE custody are actually well taken care of. But it was also frustrating as Biden missed several easy slams against Trump and failed to offer a better plan for the pandemic response and relief. And Biden had no defense when Trump hit him on his Wall Street funding, his crime bill, or Obama-era immigrant detention camps. Instead, he cartoonishly came after Trump from the right on foreign policy, insinuating that Trump is not hostile enough to Russia, China, and North Korea. The only questions to the future CEOs of the U.S. empire about foreign policy was how they will be better at punishing those countries. As if Trump's unprecedented sanctions on places like Russia, Iran, Venezuela, and many more haven't been punishment. Yes, it's just accepted that of course the U.S. has the moral duty to be the world's superpower, imposing itself militarily and financially to crush nations that do not comply to its will. And of course, not one question about America's 20-year-long war in Afghanistan. As I watched, I kept thinking, imagine anyone else, literally anyone else from the primary, except for maybe John Delaney, up there arguing against Trump. Biden was really the least equipped to go against him. Look, personally, I hope that Trump loses. But look at how bad it had to get for that even to be a possibility. It took a catastrophic pandemic with no end in sight and a full-blown economic crisis to put Biden within striking distance. Absent these developments, he wouldn't stand a chance against Trump. But if you tune into the media, you'll see a similar tune to that in 2016, that Biden has it in the bag. National polls have Biden trouncing Trump, but national polls don't really mean anything. See, in our great democracy, we have something called the Electoral College, which means that we don't have one person, one vote. Instead, the election is ultimately decided by only 12 swing states. The other 38 states are guaranteed to be won by the dominant party there. The popular vote is basically meaningless, and voting in most states largely symbolic. So if you look at the polling in those swing states right now, the election is still uncomfortably close. Biden doesn't have anywhere near the lead that he has in national polls. And there are some concerning new trends that need to be factored in too. Among young black voters, Trump has more than double the support he had in 2016, according to a new study by UCLA, up from 10% to 21%. Trump's support among Latinos is actually growing nationwide as well. For example, in Florida, a crucial swing state, he's actually beating Biden in Latino support. Hillary won among Latinos there in 2016, yet still lost the state to Trump. Obama's there right now campaigning for Biden, assuring crowds to not worry because he's not a socialist. Instead of offering a program to people suffering during the pandemic, Democrats are once again falling prey to Trump's narrative on the defense that their center-right agenda is not big bad communism. Another underreported fact that may be silently shifting things in Trump's favor is a major difference in campaign strategy. The most effective form of campaigning is door-to-door outreach. Trump's camp claims to be knocking on 1 million doors per week, compared to Biden's 0 per week, who has pledged to only do virtual campaigning. How much impact will this direct voter outreach have? Well, we won't know until Election Day. These unpredictable surges make it clear the election is much closer than we think.